Welcome back. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we got another update on Robinhood.
Sure do.
Another one, dude.
We must, right? Our Lord and Savior Vlad is calling on us, dude.
Yeah, he did call us and say, guys, you're not talking about Robinhood enough.
That's true. I remember that scolding. It was very rough, dude. Vlad looks like a peaceful fellow, but
He does. But
it's kind of like Ellen DeGeneres, right? It's like,
what?
You never heard of those rumors? It's
No.
Like, yeah, apparently
I'm with you, man.
she's like evil. Apparently, according to like all the guests on her show, it's like backstage she's just like this raging cunt, you know. But like on the show, she appears like this bubbly sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
That was her whole brand. That's Vlad.
Dang.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we
We
love
don't-
you, Vlad.
Yeah, Vlad is great. But
Just send us to your conference.
yeah, but they're coming to our town, by the way.
That's right.
What's it called? The summit?
Yeah.
But we're not invited, so it's an invite-only
Not
conference.
yet. Vlad, what
Not
are you
yet.
doing?
That's right. Come on, dude. We're doing this for nothing?
Yeah.
Come on, my guy.
All right, so we're going to see what the SEC has to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC proposed new rules regulating crypto assets that would create a clear and fit for purpose framework for certain investment contracts involving crypto assets. So we were like, excuse me?
Yes.
And then so we looked at their doc, and it says the first exemption would permit offerings of up to $5 million during a first 4-year period. The second exemption would permit offerings of up to $75 million during each 12-month period. So what this means is the ICO Mania 2.0 is upon us.
Yeah, it could actually legitimately come back. Which, you know, does that mean it's like an exclusive resurfacing only on Robinhood? Probably not.
No
You're
way.
gonna see projects, you know, using on every chain, taking advantage of this new, you know, act.
This new, functionality.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with whether or not like the Clarity Act gets passed, right?
No,
'Cause
this is separate.
Yeah, which this is kind of like, to me, evidence is that they know like the Clarity Act's not gonna get passed. I mean, if you go to Kalshi and Polymarket, there's like a
Yeah,
1 in 5 probability that it does get passed this year.
yeah.
So who knows what that does to the price of Bitcoin, and like the extension of this bear cycle could do that. But nonetheless, the SEC, which is like now kind of like positioned by Donald Trump,
Yeah.
basically puppets the whole thing at this point.
Yeah, so they need 3 Democrats to sign off on this before it gets passed.
Not gonna happen, dude.
Yeah, is 3 a lot? I mean, I don't know. I think it is.
It's like anything more than one, it's
Yeah.
like impossible in this country. Apparently, it's that split, you know.
Yeah.
So the unfortunate reality is that, but they're still slipping like these different little regulatory things.
Yeah,
to the
nuggets
cracks.
to like keep us hooked on the crypto
Yeah, 'cause-
powder.
So yeah, why do all this? Well, they also had like a meeting, a crypto summit yesterday.
Yeah, the crypto summit. President Trump says the U.S. considers buying sizable amounts of Bitcoin and other crypto. Trump calls on Congress to pass the Crypto Clarity Act. Trump says U.S. is ensuring it remains the undisputed leader in Bitcoin and crypto. And he mentioned Hyperliquid
He did.
by name.
Yeah, he's like, we want Hyperliquid on our shores, or like on our,
Yeah.
you know, here.
Accessible to Americans.
Yeah, yeah.
And which pumped 15% to $69 after Trump says CFTC is working to bring it to U.S. SEC Chair Paul Atkins says we will ensure that the greatest advances of the technological frontier are realized right here in America.
Raw, dude. I couldn't feel more like, you know, enthused, right?
Yeah. And then Gemini co-founders, America should lead in crypto and win in market. Trump says he ended the war on crypto once and for all.
I don't know about that one, my guy. I
Yeah.
don't know if, like,
If, dude, AOC wins, it's all over.
yeah, crypto's back in the sniper nest, like it'll aiming right back at us, dude. So I
Yeah.
don't know if the war is truly winnable. Like you could declare that once and for all. I don't know, but you can make the attempt, right? And nonetheless, you know, we've got 2 more years of Trump, so
Yeah. So we got time.
right? We're just gonna full steam ahead.
All right. Robinhood CEO Vlad says that we are at the beginning of a tokenization supercycle that will eat the entire financial system. And we have an article from Vlad himself that describes exactly what that means. And ultimately, he says that we're leaving Americans behind.
Yeah, it's like here we are introducing, you know, probably the most portable value mechanism of our economy, which is like, you know, shares of these companies, Fortune 500 companies, and we've now tokenized them, and they're now in possession, or can be in the possession of anybody in the globe, basically, except for our own fucking people in our country,
Yeah.
where we're building this company and this infrastructure from, right? So, what gives?
Yeah.
What gives, regulators? Don't you want your citizens to like prosper?
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty sensible like argument.
Yeah. So let's see what he says here.
Mr. President, thank you for bringing us together and for your work to ensure the next generation of Americans has a stake in the country's economic success through the Trump accounts and many other things. Thank you also to Chair Seelig, Chair Atkins, your administration, for the work underway to strengthen American capital markets and expand opportunity for all Americans. If I had to sum up Robinhood in one word, it would be ownership. Broad ownership is essential to a free, stable, and prosperous society. That belief has shaped pretty much every product we've built, from commission-free investing to 24-hour trading, and now outside the United States to tokenization, which we're using to expand ownership of American assets to people in more than 120 countries. Yet this innovation is reaching investors abroad before investors here back home. And the opportunity goes far beyond public markets. Tokenization will open up markets that have long been out of reach, including private companies. Today, too much economic value is being created before ordinary investors get a chance to participate. Expanding ownership also requires protecting investors. Innovation and investor protection aren't opposing goals. America became the world's capital markets capital by doing both, and the chairs here understand that. American companies are building this technology. American markets are powering it. American assets are also at the center of it. American investors should not be the last to benefit. We look forward to continue to work together to expand ownership, build the next generation of capital markets, and ensure America leads the way.
All right. How can you not be born bullish? Then Vlad speaking right next to the president.
That's right. As like he's surrounded by all the other crypto bros in the industry.
Right. Yeah.
They're really trying to make their case here.
The Winklevi right here, dude.
Well, one of them, right?
Well, I think both of them are there, actually.
They just like merged into one, one being as twins
like
too, right?
Terminator, dude.
It's pretty cool. If that was like a twin superpower, you could just like merge it well.
Yeah. So Vlad was interviewed here. So this is a 2-minute video, but let me just read what this says here. It says the CEO, stock tokens will be the DeFi most important primitive. On August 7th, Robinhood CEO said on Future Investing that Robinhood chain is the fastest growing chain in history, reaching 100 million transactions faster than any other chain. He said stock tokens are among the most important underlying asset on the chain. 10 have noted that it took Robinhood years to reach 10 billion in trading volume, which the chain achieved the same in just weeks.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it basically. We saw it all happen before our very own eyes. It was pretty. He's been a pretty active month or so since everything started popping off. So yeah, it's challenging, and it's obviously very difficult to do this, right? We've seen hundreds of chains.
We have
literally hundreds come to market. Whether they're L2s to Ethereum, even L2s to Bitcoin were built and like erected. And
there's hundreds there too.
Were there hundreds?
Yeah.
I feel like there's hundreds of like pitches, but I don't know if they actually all made it to even.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Deployment status. But nonetheless, it's like this has been like crypto's prevailing activity for years now, and to even achieve like a percentage of what Robin has done to this point, it's obviously very hard and difficult. So
yeah,
they come to market with like a huge edge over everybody else. It's that the freaking lightning rod of their existing user base, right?
Yeah. So how do you keep up with this this data? So on DeFi Llama, you look at the TVL, which is total value locked, $558 million. So as long as this chart is up and to the right, you just keep paying attention to it.
Yeah, I would say that that's a healthy, metric to kind of like observe. Kind of represents like the pool of like on-chain liquidity into this, ecosystem.
Yeah. And
I'm sure there's other metrics that have yet to be untapped. I think one of the bigger metrics, which I don't know if it's even demonstratable. It's like, yeah, what percentage of Robinhood's core user base has made it on chain to like interact with any of these?
Yeah, I don't think
yet?
that. I don't think there's a way to
Track that yet,
not yet.
or even like no.
Yeah.
Not yet, but maybe there will be in the future.
That's right. All right, Robinhood, and here are the transactions up and to the right. It's seen a little drop off here, but it's kind of normal.
It's doing its thing. It's chugging along.
Nasty retrace in Robinhood chain. So yeah, things are going down at the moment, and there's only 5 tokens that are above, let's say, $10 million here, attendees.
Yeah, so market's doing its like natural thing, right? After like 3 weeks of only go up, you're gonna have some corrections, and it's typically, you know, it washes out a lot of the fakery in the space. Is, you know, if there's projects here that we're just trying to capitalize on the wave, they likely won't return, right?
Right.
But things that had like longevity prospects from the beginning, you know, they tend to come back up again.
Yeah.
Right. And like the most interesting thing is like during these lowest periods is when like new things can really pop up and really strike a nerve. Like if we correlate everything back to ordinals, it's like, this reminds me of like the period where right around when BRC20s first kind of like hit the market, right? Where it's like, yeah, this is cool. Building on Bitcoin is great. We've got some awesome like first iterations of ordinal collections and such, but you know, let's cool down now and let's see if there's anything else that could be done here. Right? Then boom, Domo kind of nailed it.
That's right.
With a token protocol on Bitcoin.
That's right. Yeah, and the people who, you know, exited on the way up, they're looking for their next opportunity, right? And so
true. Yeah, they have like new wealth, right?
New wealth, yeah. So I got to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's the next thing, guys?
So that's what we're tasked with, right? Like as us content creators and you guys out there as, you know, participants, you're trying to find those things, right? So it's leading us to eventually what we think it could be the next thing
is net.
Yeah, the chart's kind of like telling us there's something
Yeah,
unusual about this, right? It doesn't match with all the other charts we're looking at.
That's correct. Yeah, so we were looking at CashCat, we were looking at tendies, stockbrokers. Yeah, it's doing this correction. 35 million market cap, and then net is at 1.8 million market cap.
Yeah, it's just been like slowly chugging along, like during this whole lullish phase, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So we just finished an interview.
That's right.
With the founder there at Net to kind of understand why.
Yeah, his name's Al Dunlap, the pseudonym.
That's right.
So we just interviewed him. It's going to be out on Saturday at 12 p.m. Central. And we got a tweet here, shareholders, over the last 7 days, here's the growth metrics. Total reserves, 497,000 to almost 1.4 million, up 180%. Backing per net is $13.54 to $31.
Yeah, these are very, once you guys, listen to the interview, you'll understand this is essentially like the whole game being played here. It's to fluff up these numbers here.
Yeah, grow the treasury.
Yeah, because what that does is it corresponds typically to the growth of the value of the token.
Yeah, so this token is basically like a claim to the treasury, and this token can trade above that net asset value or below, and then you could use some of these reserve assets to kind of rebalance everything and restore the ecosystem.
Yeah, so it's definitely a mind shifter. If you're like, if you only came into crypto through meme coins, I can imagine this is like, what are you doing?
Reserves? Treasury?
Yeah, you're telling me there's a token out there that's actually backed by something? It's like, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Because but it's been attempted in the past, and it did very well during the DeFi summer days of 2021.
Right.
In Olympus DAO, right? It literally went to like 4 billion market cap. So why not give it another shot here? I guess is kind of like the underlying thesis takeaway from that conversation. It's exactly what he's done, and
and he's tokenized other kinds of primitives like some calls and puts and longs, and it's and then it's an asset that you can use in a game, which is something new. Yeah,
so things are gonna get kooky here pretty soon, I think, and I think fundamentally, if we draw back to our history in crypto, that's what it takes to get to see things really fester and explode beyond just like crypto Twitter interests, right?
Yeah.
You need to see like wacky things, like people playing, race card games, and then like what's up for grabs is like a prediction market of $100 call on like, I don't know, Trump falling
Yeah.
off his damn airplane or something like that. Like
Right.
Why? Because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this is what people tend to do. They do ridiculous things.
Yeah. And if you're right, you get 100x return.
Yeah, why not, dude? I'll play that game.
Yeah, so there's others in the ecosystem. BTC Machine, it says BTC Ordinals on Robinhood for the love of the game. Not even kidding. I was just eating some blueberries, drinking some coffee. I had this idea, put it out there. 20 minutes later, here we are. And it's called RH Machines.
I remember these guys, the BTC machines.
That's right, yeah.
So this is Ordinals, kind of like, finding their place in this whole Robinhood scheme, right?
Yeah, so there were the docs, and then here are on OpenSea the assets. They're trading around, $80 to $100 here.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was a free mint.
And it was a free mint, right?
Yeah, if you go through the timeline, literally, it's like an Ordinals founder kind of like poking fun at the fact that everything's happening on Robinhood. He's just like, imagine if I partook.
Yeah.
And then people were like, you should. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's what's happened here, right? It's very willy-nilly.
Yeah, so right now sitting at 1.3 million. It was an all-time high. It was 3.5 million.
Yeah, so I don't know what this says about Ordinals itself. I mean, we have a rest in pepperoni to mention. Remember? Ordinals bot?
Oh, right. Rest in pepperoni.
Sorry, you don't spend enough time on the internet.
No, I do not, dude.
That's what people say. Instead of rest in peace, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
You
Yeah,
don't wanna
Ordinals
rest in-
bot.
You don't want to rest in pepperonis, dude?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, some people do, I guess. But the point is, Ordinals bot officially went under.
Yeah.
And if you remember the Ordinals day, they were like a big player, right?
Yeah, they launched Ordi, or Ordi was launched through Ordinals bot.
Correct. Yeah, a big infrastructure provider during those days. So the fact that they're calling it quits, and then you got some of these Ordinals founders finding their way to Robinhood, I don't know. It's definitely bleak.
Yeah, I mean, you got to follow the market, right? I mean, what else is there to do? Just wait around? I mean,
yeah, basically.
All right. So speaking of, we're speaking of like leading developers here. Benny, he says, heard we will have much fun soon, as it seems. That says stonkenize yourself. Tap protocol collateral baskets per permissionless meme stonks on Robinhood chain.
There you have it. There you have it, folks. If you're looking for like a consensus on, Robinhood is the place to be paying attention to. I mean, I don't know if there's a better signal than Benny.
Benny, yeah.
I mean, Benny's a technical whiz, literally.
Yeah.
Again, like I don't think anybody can match his like output. So he's here playing on Robinhood, right? So definitely start paying attention.
Yeah, and so they also released this website called muchalpha.com, and we have Fitzy here kind of explaining that over the 13-minute video here. But what it is, Much Alpha is essentially a terminal that allows you to connect your agents, for example, and see what's going on Robinhood chain, on-chain stuff, right? And so maybe you see an inflow of transactions going into a single smart contract address. Maybe that's something to pay attention to. Your agent will notify you and say, hey, this is what's happening. You should pay attention.
Yeah, so if you have that built-up relationship with your agent, I guess it understands that that's what you're after.
Yeah,
it's like it should just tell you, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know you. You tend to like to be early to things, and here's this like indication that there's this thing happening on this chain. You should probably be early to that.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the way to do that, basically.
And finally, DMT-NAT introducing a new kind of real-world assets to Robinhood chain. DMT-NAT is a tokenized security budget of Bitcoin bridged from Bitcoin to Robinhood with initial lock liquidity. And yeah, so talking about tokenizing everything, that's what DMT-NAT is. It tokenizes security budget of Bitcoin with over 60% of Bitcoin hash power supporting it.
Yeah, which is, I mean, again, if you're new to that, if you're purely interested in Robinhood Alpha and like, ecosystem activity, again, this is something that festered and brewed within the Ordinals ecosystem that was, incepted 3 to 4 years ago, I would say.
Yeah, almost
3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Almost 4, dude.
Yeah, but still, per the nature of blockchain, right? Things aren't locked into single ecosystems anymore. They can be bridged to other.
Yeah, I mean, this
networks.
is the same as like a stable coin is accessible on every chain. Mm-hmm. The security budget of Bitcoin should be accessible on every chain.
Why? Because it's objectively like the biggest problem in all of crypto, but like the least heard of and the least talked about,
Yes.
which is very ironic. But Elon says that's typically how, like, you know, reality plays
works,
out.
yeah.
It's like very ironic outcomes, right? So,
Yeah.
So here it is.
All right. Well, that's it for us. We that was an update on Robinhood. A lot of stuff happening, obviously. It's a little bit of a cool down period, but that is normal for crypto. Speaking about cool down, Bitcoin's on the rise. It's heating up. It's at 72 and change right now.
So is Ethereum. It
So,
did like a
yeah.
15% pop in a day or something. Pretty wild.
Yeah, I think it was Kramer who predicted or who said about a week ago to sell Bitcoin at around 62,000 or whatever it was.
So the legend stays intact, basically.
It does.
Good lord. This fucking guy.
Yeah. All right, that's it for us. Appreciate you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.